Hi, and welcome to lesson 11.6 on the Pythagorean theorem. And the theorem just states that in any right triangle, the square of the length of the hypotenuse, which is the longest side of the triangle, equals the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs. In other words, we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So now let's move on to just some practice problems to refresh this from what you covered in 7th grade. So here you're given the legs of a and b. So we're going to write our equation first. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We plug the values in, substitute. So we're going to have 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. So we are going to have 25 equals c squared to solve for c. Since we can't have negative distances on our triangles or on any shape, we are going to write an answer as just positive 5. And here I'm going to ask you to solve this one on your own first. So one leg of a right triangle measures 36 centimeters. The hypotenuse is 39 centimeters long. Write and solve an equation for the length of the unknown sides. So when you come to class tomorrow, I'm going to check for your equation as well as your work and solving for the leg of the unknown side. So go ahead and do that on your own first. All right, in regards to your equation, you should have 36 squared plus, and you can write b squared equals 39 squared. The common mistake is that people forget to square the lengths, so just make sure you don't forget to do that. And I'm going to check for your solving work, but your answer should have come out to that the unknown side is 15 centimeters long for this triangle. Now another type of problem that might pop up is when you are given 3 numbers and you are asked to determine if the lengths could form a right triangle. And here are the 3 numbers: 16, 30, and 34. So I would like you to show your work in terms of how you would figure out if this is a right triangle. Go ahead and start first with writing your equation and then determine if your equation holds true by checking that both sides are equal. So make sure you pause the video first, do the work, and eventually you should be able to figure out that this does form a right triangle. And for our last practice problem in our notes, we have to the nearest hundredth, what is the length of a diagonal of a rectangle whose width is blank and whose length is, not lengths. So we're going to have diagonal of, whose width is 12 centimeters and whose length is 42 centimeters. So the best thing to do for this problem is to first draw this rectangle. So our length is 42. Width is 12, and you're asked for that diagonal, so it forms the right triangle. So you're again going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find your hypotenuse. And once you do, you need to round your answer to the nearest hundredth. You are allowed to use a calculator on this, but I still would like to see your equation set up, as well as the substitution involved, and the final radical that you are going to use to determine the actual value. And to finish off this refresher lesson, I want you to complete numbers 3 through 18, multiples of 3, on page 532. So you are going to not only show me your notes tomorrow, but you are also going to complete these problems from this page and show them to me as well, just to make sure that we are all good with the Pythagorean theorem. If you have any questions, let me know through email, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.